Hey everybody, Pastor Frank coming to you live via a recorded message. I'm sitting in my office this morning. It's Thursday, the 7th of May. I just finished a video call with Bishop McKee and other Northwest District pastors talking about issues related to reopening and how that would look like and what criteria we may be facing in making those decisions. I don't really have anything to share about that other than the bishop has asked all churches to not reopen before May 31st, and so our services will continue to be online only at least through the end of this month. And considering that the number of cases in Grayson County and particularly in Sherman have been increasing in the last couple of weeks, I don't know if we'll be open again for worship in June. We'll just have to figure that out. We have established a team to help starting to format a strategy for reopening. David Rylander is leading that team, and it will start meeting pretty soon, probably next week, to start asking questions. But just let me say that for the immediate future, even when we do reopen for worship, services at Grace are going to be much different. Sunday morning at Grace will be much different than what you're used to in terms of Sunday school, in terms of things like coffee service, how we receive the offering, how we celebrate the Lord's Supper. All of these things are going to be different for the foreseeable future. And while that may cause us some grief and upset us, everything we're doing is to ensure the safety of members of our congregation and the broader community. So I do ask you, and I've asked this before, to be patient and to be mindful that what we're doing is in your best interest and in the best interest of the people around us. So I appreciate that. Want to remind you too that the work that we are called to do has not stopped or ended because of the virus. I'm thinking about the murder of a young man in Georgia who was a young African-American man who was murdered by white men who were armed just for running through their neighborhood. They hunted him down and killed him in the street. And it's a reminder that God calls us to do the work of justice, to heal the brokenness around us, and to repent of the sin of racism and hate that so many of us have to deal with. And as people who are part of a privileged community who don't necessarily have those same kind of issues, to be mindful that God calls us to be one human family that loves each other and supports one another. In the Psalms study that I'm doing on Tuesday nights, this past week we looked at Psalm 146. And I want to read to you a passage from Psalm 146 that reminds us who God is and who we are called to be and what we're being called to do. God is the maker of the heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them. God is faithful forever. God gives justice to people who are oppressed, bread to people who are starving. The Lord sets free prisoners. The Lord makes the blind see. The Lord straightens up those who are bent low. The Lord loves the righteous. The Lord protects immigrants, helps orphans and widows, and makes the way of the wicked twist and turn. And God makes those things happen through us. I've always been proud of Grace's tradition and history of being a congregation that does the work of justice. And that work continues even though as we're unable to meet together. So remember that is who we are. That will not change even if certain worship practices change or certain things that we're accustomed to have to change. Who we are as a congregation will not change. We are a congregation built on justice and service to the community and sharing God's radical love. And just one last reminder that this Sunday is Mother's Day. It's always a really special day. We look forward to celebrating our moms, those who've had children, but also those who are church moms, who may not have had kids of their own or may have kids, but were mothers to children and youth in our congregation. We look forward to celebrating you. Our service will have special video messages for the moms of our congregation, and we look forward to sharing those. So while we are apart, know that I'm praying for you. I'm so grateful for members of our church that are calling on each other and checking in, sharing our prayer concerns and sharing our life together. Thank you for doing that. And I look forward to seeing you in virtual worship this week as we come together on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock on the website and on the church's Facebook page. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for sharing the love of Christ. Thank you for the privilege that it is to be your pastor. And I'm so grateful for the work we're doing as a congregation. So God bless you, and may God's love surround us, encourage us, protect us, and compel us to share God's love and justice with our community. Bye for now, and I'll see you on Sunday.